And here we are so many years later talking about it, and the impact will literally last forever. I hope you're enjoying the special coverage we're bringing to you today. Unfortunately, we can't do it on Sunday because we don't work on Sunday, so we're doing it today, 2 days before, but it's okay. If you're a Beatles fan, you know what it's all about. Coming up next, we'll start the hour with a little montage of the Beatles' first appearance at the Ed Sullivan Show on February 9th, 1964. Stay close. You don't want to miss this hour.
A special presentation of the Beatles continues next on The Rich Stevens Show, 850 WFTL. On air, online, on time, 850 WFTL, West Palm Beach, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and all of South Florida, 850 FTL.
And Beatlemania returns. A special marquee at the Ed Sullivan Theater in New York marks the anniversary of the Beatles' first appearance on American television. 73 million watched as the lads from Liverpool made history. Yes, it's been 50 years. I'm Dirk Van, NBC News Radio.
This is a special presentation of The Rich Stevens Show, looking back at the Beatles 50 years ago, from Ed Sullivan to Shea Stadium and everywhere in between. Now, here's Rich on 850 WFTL.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles. Close your eyes and I'll kiss you until there was you. Introducing the Beatles again, may I point out that they'll be on our show, as I told our audience, for the next 2 Sundays. Next Sunday from Deauville Hotel in the Miami Beach show starring Hollywood's exciting Mitzi Gaynor. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again... Well, she was just 17. Get home safely. Good night.
All right, that was a little montage of the night, February 9th, 1964, at the Ed Sullivan Theater during the Ed Sullivan Show. And I've managed to track down Ann, who was 15 at the time, Ann?
That's correct.
And you were sitting there in the audience at the Ed Sullivan Theater. Now, a lot of people don't realize that the Ed Sullivan Theater is not a big place. So there were probably just a few hundred at most people in that theater at the time. How did you get a ticket to see the Beatles at the Ed Sullivan Show?
One of my classmates, her father had a connection at CBS. So he got 4 tickets. So my friend and her sister, and then I and another friend went to the show that night.
And where did you sit? Were you in the downstairs or the upstairs?
We were in the mezzanine, in the back row at the mezz, and it was just, I'm looking at a picture of myself, and there were only 6 seats, aisle to aisle. So, I mean, it's a small theater.
Yeah, no doubt. And thank you for sending those pictures, by the way. The pictures are incredible. And I can only imagine. Tell me about the memories that you have from that night.
Well, my father drove the 4 of us in, and I remember it was freezing cold and raining. So it was another miserable February night. And then, we got inside, we're shown to our seats, and I don't remember. We knew we were going to see the Beatles. That we knew. But just waiting for the Beatles, that's all we wanted. And sure enough, Ed Sullivan said he introduced the Beatles, and the audience at that point exploded. And I remember the scenery, the stage, but all I can remember is the screaming, laughing. We were just, we couldn't hear a thing. I couldn't tell you what they sang. But we were there.
but tell me, forgive me for being naive, but this was their first television experience. So how did you know about the Beatles before they were at the Ed Sullivan Theater?
There was a radio station up in New York City. A guy named Murray the K was the DJ. And as far as I remember, that's where we first heard about them. He played them. So we had heard of them. And then, again, I don't know how we knew that they were going to be on that night, but I guess my friend found out about, them coming on that night. So her father got us the tickets, and there we were.
Well, what would you say was the most memorable moment from seeing the Beatles at the Ed Sullivan Theater?
Being there and watching them and watching them perform, because they were good. I mean, and I don't mean to downplay them either. They were great, but they were having fun, and you could tell. And I do remember they made eye contact because, of course, each one of us said, "Oh no, he looked right at me,"
Even though you were up in the balcony on the end there.
He saw me. But I mean, just the whole thing, screaming the excitement, which that too was infectious. It was great. It was surreal. And then I think it has, of course, stayed alive and grown in all these years since. Because we have not gone away. There has been footage of my friends and me, in movies and commercials and, these tribute bands that do the Beatles. So, I'm just always going to see my little 15-year-old face screaming there,
And, of course, you get a check every year for all these appearances, right?
Oh, yes. Which explains why I'm still working.
How are they able to use that? Is it because you went into the Ed Sullivan show and as part of that agreement on the back of the ticket that nobody ever reads, they're just entitled to use your likeness forever?
Probably. And you figure this is 50 years ago. So, I mean, I'm sure things were different back then, we were anonymous. They didn't know who we were. The CBS folks, they don't know who we were.
And did you save the ticket?
I did not.
Why wouldn't you save the ticket?
I can't answer that. I had every one of the, what they call them, trading cards, what have you.
Yeah.
I have every one of those, though. I still have them.
And the most valuable would have been the ticket to the Ed Sullivan show. There was an incident that actually almost messed up the entire Beatles Ed Sullivan debut. Were you aware of this?
I don't know. Probably not.
Well, listen to what Ringo said about it.
TV was such bad sound, so we would have them tape our rehearsals, and we'd go up and we'd mess with the dials, that they had in the control booth. So we sort of got it all set with the engineer there, and we went off for a break. And the story has it, because we didn't see it, but the cleaner came in while we were out, and she came to clean the room and the console, and thought, what are all these chalk marks, and wiped them all off. So then we had a real hasty time trying to get some sound.
But they managed to pull it off anyway.
Good. Good.
You see, it's the behind-the-scenes things that people aren't aware of. Can you imagine? They went in, they did the sound check, they marked off everything on the control board, and then the cleaning lady just thought it was, I'm going to wipe this stuff off.
I'll clean up here. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. You're right. There's a story around each and everything, and that's a great one. That's a great one.
Well, that's why it's so important to keep the memories alive. And it was today, back in 1964, that Pan Am flight landed at Kennedy Airport, and the Fab Four walked down, and the rest, of course, is history.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
The fact that you were a part of this history, how does that make you feel today?
Incredible. And I feel like I'm 15 again, still, whatever, but just, this is one night and one memory that has just lived on and on. It's made me smile for the past 50 years. And I'm doing it again right now,
So what kind of work do you do today?
I'm a secretary.
And do you share this story often with people? Or do you, let me guess, you have the picture of you at the Ed Sullivan Theater, all big poster size in front of your desk?
No, today I do, because it is today. But no, generally, you know what, I don't go around and blab to the world. There are people who do know where I was, and then they'll reach out and contact me around this time every year. And, but no, I don't, make a point of saying, oh, by the way,
So,
but then when word gets out, I'm not going to deny it.
So do you consider yourself a Beatles expert at least by this time?
No.
Just a big fan.
Yes, a very big fan.
So before I let you go, and I really appreciate you taking time to be with us today on the Rich Stevens Show, who out of the four Beatles that were looking at you, making eye contact with you, who is the one that meant so much to you more than any of the other three?
I'd have to say George. George. Mm-hmm.
You had to think about it, though, right?
No, George.
Okay.
No. But I'd take any one of them,
Well, there you go. Well,
yeah.
And it's a pleasure to have you on the show today. I really appreciate you taking time to share this incredible story. And I'm so sorry that you didn't save the ticket. I would just love to talk to somebody. We've talked to people that have been to the concerts at Shea Stadium and Carnegie Hall and Forest Hills. And just like you, nobody saved the ticket. It's incredible.
I don't know. I guess you didn't do that then, or I don't know. I'm with you though. I'd love to have that ticket. Yeah.
Well, you live and learn, but at least you have the great memories of being in the Ed Sullivan Theater to watch the Beatles make their debut, which is, by the way, Sunday, 50 years ago. Today is the day that they landed in New York City, and here we are in 2014. Of course, the rest is history.
It is. And I'm part of it. Hey.
You sure are, and you have the pictures to prove it. Unlike a lot of other people, the pictures are just so. I'm gonna, with your permission, can I put the pictures up on my blog?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to put the pictures on the blog at richstevenshow.com. And thank you so much for sharing your incredible story with us today.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you again, okay?
Okay.
All right, have a good one. Thanks so much. Just incredible. And she still sounds like she's 15 with the great memories. Coming up next, we will continue with this special tribute to remembering 50 years ago when the Beatles first landed in America at John F. Kennedy International Airport. There's a lot more to go. Oh, by the way, Paul Mercurio, the comedian, will join us in studio coming up
Special
next.
Presentation of the Beatles continues next on The Rich Stevens Show, 850 WFTL.
Joyce Kaufman.